Should we do welcome to the Call Girls Investment Club podcast on the count of three?
You got to run through that one more time.
Yeah. You know what I just said?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the
Call Girls Investment
Club podcast.
I think I got it.
I call it the Call Girls Investment Club podcast because I trade call options.
Okay, but why the girls?
Because call girls are hookers, and I thought it would be a funny pun.
I've never heard them called that. All right.
You never heard?
Nope.
Okay.
You don't know many hookers, do you?
No, I do not.
We have a special guest today. This is Dylan Farrar.
Yep.
And Michael Becker, and I'm Diana Becker.
Okay, let's get started with this show. What's up?
Okay, current events. What are your big impressions from the week? What happened in current events? Does anyone have an opinion or observation?
The election's going. Nevada still hasn't released their votes.
And pretty much you can say it.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Before I flew out, I was watching the news pretty much till 3 a.m. every day, checking it.
Oh my God, yes.
And exactly nothing happened.
I know. Well, they're all announcing that Biden won, right?
Oh yeah.
The Democrats are, and the Republicans are all saying it's not over yet.
Yes.
I find it really weird because I've been checking every so often on the U.S. election map. When you Google it, a whole map pops up.
Yeah, I like that map.
Yeah, and North Carolina hasn't changed since Tuesday, but they don't call it for some reason, and there's only 5% of the votes remaining.
So I noticed this strange thing. There were two states. Mm-hmm. They were both 95% votes in.
Yeah.
Both had huge spreads a huge discrepancy between Democrat and Republican. Mm-hmm. I might have these states mixed up, but there were these two states that were identical. One was way for Biden and one was way for Trump. They called the Biden one. The Trump one they wouldn't call. And it ended up they just kept getting more votes, and then they switched to Biden. There's a lot of fishy stuff, right? I mean, do you even agree with this?
Well,
I know you're not a Republican, but do you agree that there's some fishy stuff?
This is the first. I watched the 2016 election. That was the first election I ever watched, and that was pretty. They called it that night because Trump easily won more states than Hillary did, but this year there were a lot of key states that were close, and I think it's because of all the polling they did that they.
But they were wrong on the polls in 2016 and the same.
But they had estimated that Michigan and Wisconsin were going to go blue this year based on the polling they did.
Some of the polls.
I think that's why.
That's not the poll I listened to. I listened to the guy that called the 2016 election.
Yeah,
and he's controversial because he said that the Republicans would win, but he was right.
So if they expected certain states to go blue and it was close enough, where if there were enough 5%, they called Florida that night, but for a little while it was close. Biden was ahead for 2 minutes, and then Trump just took off with it. But even when there was 10 million votes already in, they didn't call it because there was only 95%. So 5% is would be another 500,000 votes.
You're from North Carolina. Yeah. Okay, so I heard that it's statistically impossible for Biden to win a certain state, and then it just kept coming up with more votes, and then they said it changed. So
I did the math in North Carolina too. I haven't checked it, but that night I did the math. 95% of the votes are in, so 5% of
it's complicated math. I know I kept getting stuck at that point.
I did the math.
Every time I tried to do the math, I got stuck right there.
I did the math equation, and there were enough votes that if those votes went to Biden, that he could take the state. And I think that's why they didn't.
But it would have to be it 100% almost.
Yeah.
So you know about the fishy stuff? No, you don't hear about the fishy stuff because you listen to the news, and of course all the Republicans are talking about the fishy stuff. So basically,
I haven't been online very much since I've come up here.
Well, I've heard a lot of fishy stuff. I'll just rattle off a couple things. One is they found a bunch of dead people voting. That always happens every year. Can't be enough to change the results.
I mean, a dead person got elected this year in North Dakota, I think.
Seriously?
Yeah. He died of coronavirus, but
they elected him. So now they have to.
They didn't take him off the ballot, so yeah.
He got elected? Why? Were they trying to make a statement?
No, I mean, when you're filling out your ballot, do you really know besides the Congress people and the president?
I know a lot. When I was 20 something, like you guys are, I just anybody with a familiar sounding name, I'd vote for them. Judges, I'd just leave blank. I didn't think it mattered.
I voted on party lines pretty much.
And also, when I was younger, I would vote for whoever I thought was going to win. So I feel like when the media says someone's going to win, which all the media polls said Biden was going to win, I feel like that influences people they want to be on the winner's side,
Yeah, that's very true.
But there's a lot. Okay, so I'm not going to go into detail, but there are many cases of like people coming forward saying their boss at the post office told them to find ballots 2 or 3 days after the election, predate them as if they had come in on time. They had people bringing in van loads full of ballots that nobody knew where they were coming from. There were poll workers that were like taking disqualified ballots and shoving them in the counting bins. And there were poll watchers that were Republicans that were told to go out and get lunch, but they brought in lunch for the Democrats and then they locked the doors and they wouldn't let the Republicans back in, stuff like that. So I hear these accusations and I think everyone should want an audit of the election. It was too close to not want. If there's 7 million people voted for Trump, you don't want to just ignore that and go, oh yay, we won, because you want the country united. So I feel like Democrats particularly should be promoting auditing the election, making sure it's fair, checking out all these things so that we can make sure those 7 million people feel not disenfranchised and so that they can shut up. You know what I mean? They want them to shut up. They should check into it.
I agree.
So that's
if the
my political statement for the day.
If the Democrats feel like they won the election, they shouldn't have a problem with anything.
That's what my point is if they really believe they honestly won the election fairly, there should be no problem with it.
Back to what you said, those the accusations, they're accusations. And if
there's a lot of them and
people come forward with it, it should and will be investigated.
It should be. It's already being filed as a lawsuit. But
then
I think it's premature. I feel like it's premature for everyone to go off saying, "Okay, shut up, Republicans."
Yeah, I know. A lot of things like my roommate, very heavy Trump supporter, and like we have discussions all the time. And when he saw that Trump was losing in Michigan, he showed me. He found something on Twitter where there were more votes counted than registered voters.
Yeah, I checked that out, and it wasn't true.
Yeah, it wasn't true. So
yeah, I checked out the watermark. I don't believe that's true.
No, I went to the government website
I
for
feel
registered
like
voters, and I showed him the actual number, and he asked me
as of October 1st, and they can register at the polls.
No, it wasn't as October 1st. It was.
I'm sorry, November 1st. But
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, they can register at the polls. So the number of registered voters is irrelevant, really.
Yeah.
Millions of people could have shown up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he was telling me that, and he was telling all my roommates that, as if it was fact. But
yeah, that's the problem. People don't do their homework. So this is the point of my show is I'm always saying do your homework. So this is why there are so many things. I just say do your homework, and then I get shot down by people who disagree with me on a political level. And it's like I did tell about these rumors. I told about the watermark. I told about the overcounting. I publicized it. I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's look into it. Let's do our own homework. Instead, Facebook and Twitter. So this is where I was going with this. Facebook and Twitter, they just black it out. You can't even see the accusation and research it.
I mean, companies, their corporations, they can be bought easily. Like
they should be bought.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all on the same side trying to manipulate. I'm just really pissed.
Given enough money, they'll manipulate their information.
Well, I actually think it's the opposite. I think the corporations are buying the politicians.
Oh, yeah.
You're saying the politicians could buy the corporations.
Well, yeah.
Both ways.
But I mean,
there's rules against that.
People, when all this campaign funding, like, it doesn't cost $100 million to run ads on TVs and everything. They're paying people to say
buy votes.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually no.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you might not know about this, but one of the things I watched was one of these people who goes out and buys votes. They call them facilitate. They call them something, consultants. So they pay the consultants. They walk around with bags of money and they say things like, "Oh, do you need your ballot taken to the poll?" Or, "Oh, well, you're not going to vote this year. Here, let me pay your rent and give me your ballot, or whatever. Fill out your ballot. I'll help you fill your ballot out." You know what I mean? So the people who help fill ballots out, they go around and they go to the neighborhoods where they think it's more heavily what their employer wants them to find, and they basically harvest the votes that way. That's called ballot harvesting. It's illegal in almost all states, but these states in question, it's not illegal, and it should be.
I've heard, people go door to door knocking and asking, "Would you consider voting for whoever?" And I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, why don't you just vote for whoever you want, but say you voted for one person and then just take the money?
Poor people, homeless
they
people,
need
they need the money. There's a lot of people who need the money.
I feel
and what they did is they stopped the vote, they ran out, and they got more votes. And that's what people are really pissed about is like, they saw they needed 100,000 more votes. They went out and they got more votes, and they sent these people out. And that's why people are pissed, because that was after the deadline. It's illegal.
I feel like I would hear about that, though.
No, you don't hear about it because...
Well, as a college student, young people don't vote, but
not usually.
We're able to vote. Why wouldn't, especially college students, we do just about anything for
money?
Yeah. I feel like
they went to specific neighborhoods.
Mecklenburg County is a blue county. They voted blue.
I don't know. Were you there?
Yeah.
You were here, weren't you?
No. I changed my registration so I could vote in Mecklenburg, so I wouldn't have to go back home.
So I don't know. I don't know why you didn't hear about it.
Oh, wait, no, never
My
mind.
main thing is the media's not covering stuff like that. But I would think if they wanted, maybe they just didn't come to your college,
I could see people buying votes, but I feel like it would be
something people would talk about.
They wouldn't dare go to like older residences because
I feel like as students there's a mix, and they talk. So if someone came up to Democrat students and tried to buy their vote, all the Republican students would know about it immediately because they're right there in the dorms together.
Well, yeah, I know.
I don't think they'd harvest ballots at a school.
Who would they target that wouldn't spread the word around?
They targeted poor neighborhoods, retired people.
Well, wouldn't they spread the word around? Do this and you get $100, $200?
They probably would spread the word around.
Wouldn't they? I feel like if it was...
Well, that's why I think it'll come out. It'll either be true or not true.
I feel like we'd hear... be all over Twitter. You can find it easily.
No, because anybody who posted anything on Twitter, did you know Twitter was taking down any post that said anything with a hashtag? I was looking to see what was trending. Mm-hmm. Anything with hashtag voter fraud was invisible. Like it had zero hits.
I don't use Twitter. I never have.
People are really pissed. Okay. For the last year, people have been pissed because they felt like Facebook was promoting false news in favor of Donald Trump, letting it come on. And then Twitter had stuff like hashtag burn down Louisville or something. And it's like, why do they allow that? So there's they have too much on their hands to decide what is and isn't okay, right? So they're using robots. Well, in this election, this past week, with the news about Biden's son, and the laptop and all that controversy, they just blocked that out. They blocked out the entire New York Post. They blocked out anything with any certain hashtag as election fraud. And they even blocked out, Donald Trump said, I'm going to hold a news conference at 11:30. And they blocked that out.
Well, because...
They blocked out almost everything Trump tweeted in the last week. Did you see all the blank spaces? People are pissed. And they're all hashtag cancel Twitter, hashtag boycott Twitter. And they're all moving over to Parler.
I can see that. But... Well, remember when it was what was it, the primaries or before that, like 2 years ago?
Probably the primaries this year.
No, not this year. It was remember when the caravan was coming?
Yeah, that thing. Yeah,
there was tens of thousands of Mexicans coming to take over.
Yeah, was that
our
fake
border.
news? I don't know.
Well,
I never checked it.
2 days, every single day, 2 weeks leading up to, I think it was. Like where you vote for Congress or Senate is something that happens every 2 years.
The primary. Uh-huh.
Yeah. You heard about it every day. The caravan's coming. Protect your children. 2 days after it was over,
Didn't hear anything.
Didn't hear anything about it. And just
people are saying that about COVID too. They're saying, "Oh, it's terrible. It's horrible. The numbers are really high. Oh, we're all going to die." And if you actually look at the real chart from the actual authorities like Johns Hopkins and these people, the death rate is the same. So like, how would it be suddenly mushrooming out of control and the death rate be the same?
But
you know, I mean, and then they all said after the election, you just watch, it'll disappear.
Yeah, but what I was saying, a lot of politicians on both sides use scare tactics. But just like in 2016, Hillary's emails came out, and everyone wants her. He's going to throw her in jail because she's done all this and all that.
Yeah, and as soon as
he's elected, he doesn't care. Lock her up. Nothing happened. He's get behind me. I'm going to make all this happen.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen
a lot of lies? I don't know.
Have you seen all the videos?
I haven't checked everything out.
All the compilations of the Mexicans climbing Trump's border wall just because they can.
Oh, you mean is it like what are you saying? It's like a short little wall?
No, it's a tall wall. But I mean,
what are you saying? I don't know what you're talking about. So,
okay.
Are they making fun of the fact? Is it like fraudulent pictures of people climbing a wall?
Trump said he was going to build a wall and have Mexico pay for it. Well, of course, Mexico's not going to pay for it. But then, the impassable wall, no one can climb it unless they had a rope.
I thought he was talking metaphorically about lasers.
They did. They did climb it. And this one guy replicated his fence, and he says, "Come one, come all. See if you can climb it."
Oh, it's like, that's funny.
And he has a counter of the section of wall he built exactly the same as what's at the border. And he even had a 7-year-old girl climb the wall.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's funny.
Get back down. But it's just I hate all politicians. They talk it up to get elected, and then nothing happens.
I guess you're right. Trump does fall in the category of politician. I was making the point to Michael that he's not a politician, but I guess he is a politician.
He's absolutely a politician.
Another compilation.
Once you start running for president, you become a politician.
How many videos, how long did Trump say he had a Medicare, like a healthcare plan? It'd be out in a month, 2 months.
Oh yeah, people were complaining. Where's your healthcare plan or something?
It's been 4 years.
Okay, he did get a lot done though, but yeah, I think what I'm okay. So why did the stock market go up? Did you see the stock market for the week? I thought that the reason is because the Senate won pretty much a Republican, and that will keep a balanced. I feel like the stock market loves a balanced government, like where they can't do anything too extreme.
I don't know much about manipulation in the stocks. Well, not like manipulation, but cause and effect. I don't see how politics decide, especially when they haven't
That's sort of the shape of the stock market.
Yeah, but Biden hasn't said I'm going to do this and.
Oh, he said he's going to tax the hell out of everybody, which scared the stock market to death. But if the Republicans are in the Senate, he won't get anything crazy passed because they'll stop it.
I saw an article in Trump's tax plan that he passed. And apparently in 2001 to 2021 to 2027, the taxes are going to start increasing for everybody, all classes.
Well, now we have to.
In every single
after this happened, after this whole COVID thing happened, and they paid all these trillions. I don't know how we're going to pay for it. I calculated before, a couple months ago, how much the national debt is and how many people are alive in America, and I divided it. It was $79,000 a person.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm not really contributing a lot to this, but I just find it really interesting to hear you two talk to each other like this.
Well, we should probably move on to
stocks.
I trade something called the TQQQ, which is the NASDAQ, basically. And I predicted after the election it was going to go way up, which it did. This is like a 9% gap here, 13%. Mm-hmm. And I had options, so I did rake in the money. But I'm worried because the NASDAQ is Twitter, Facebook, Google, all these bad players, So I'm like, okay. I don't know if I should worry about getting out of the NASDAQ.
Too big to fail.
I feel like they're too big to fail.
Too big to fail is a real thing right now. Amazon
They're obviously controlling the world because they got the guy
easily.
they wanted, and I don't know what they did to get it, but there's rumors that they paid these consultants. So
Was it Tesla? How much has Tesla gone up?
So Tesla used to. I'm a Tesla chick because I used to trade that, and I don't follow it anymore because I feel like it's not as predictable as it used to be.
It was a hype train.
Way up. Yeah, but the TQQQ went up more than Tesla last week because it's leveraged, triple leveraged, and Tesla's in it.
I don't go for I go for single companies.
So what do you got, and where do you trade it?
Okay, so I got a check for $1,000, and I didn't want to spend it, and I wanted.
This is like him.
I wanted to start saving, so I opened up a Robinhood.
Just like you.
Invest it all in retrofit.
Oh, how much did your retrofit make this week?
It went up because they reported their earnings at the end of the week, and then the next day it went up.
Cool. And then I was like, oh yeah, if they beat on the earnings, you should just keep it, right?
Yeah.
What did you buy?
So basically, long story short, a lot of penny stocks. I love penny stocks. So basically, the first big break I had no idea what I was doing, but I bought Superconductor Technologies.
Why?
For 22 cents.
Why'd you buy it?
Because it looked cool. And
wait, what looked cool?
And it said there were good things about it on StockTwits.
Okay, so
where people it's
StockTwits. I've heard of that.
A forum.
Is that a forum on?
People just
on Reddit?
It's an app. No, it's
its own forum. Yeah, probably.
It's just it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up.
Well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You may as well go for the ride.
I said it's gonna go up. All right, I'll buy it. And I was holding it, and for absolutely no reason, I woke up the next day and it was up 10 cents.
Which means you made like 49% or whatever.
Yeah, I was up $500.
Nice.
And then
did you cash out?
No, goodness no. I just made $500 by sleeping. You think I'm going to cash out? I'm going to keep going.
And no.
I dropped down a lot. My record. I bought companies before earnings, thinking they're going to do well.
Oh, that used to be a thing of mine. I would look forums, up. Yep. I would look up the earnings dates, and I would buy like a week before. Sometimes I'd sell the day before because
I bought the day before and sold the next day. Yep, that's how I've made
a lot of money.
Yep. Wendy's made me a lot of money on their earnings.
I always would run them.
Rite Aid has never let me down on their
Rite
earnings.
Aid's great.
I made $500 off.
Do you ever buy Tesla?
No, I never bought Tesla. March 13th, the day the market dropped, Tesla went down to like $200 this year when coronavirus
this year
hit.
again. Yeah, it looked so good.
It seemed really obvious to me that he was talking about this year.
Yeah, it was up like to $700, $800.
I have flashbacks to the day when I made all that money off Tesla because I keep reliving it.
But
you want to say something?
All right.
There you got it.
But yeah,
she wants us to buy cat.
Ow.
Oh.
But yeah, March 13th was when coronavirus like really hit. Everything's shutting down.
Oh, that. Yep. March 13th.
It went down to like $200, and now it's
$420.
$420, but they did a 5-for-1 split.
Yeah, so it's really.
So it's really
they didn't
like
do the split between then and then. Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
So
right now, current price is.
So it's like 10 times as much.
No, it's
So it's double the price, but also the 5-to-1 split is it makes it 10. A multiple of 10.
If we reverse the split, it went from $200 to $2,400.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself that I'm not still in Tesla, but I actually told people to buy it, and I didn't have the money at that date, and then I just.
I didn't buy anything because you're watching everything.
It looks like the end of the world.
Yeah, this is just the start of the crash. It's going to go so much more down.
Right.
The company I'm in now was at $2.
How much is it now?
$6.
So what are you in now?
AUI. It's a gold stock. They just had earnings last week.
How are they doing?
They beat it by 3 times. So it was.
I feel like gold might go down now that the election's over and there's less. It might go up because they're spending all that money, right?
It was going down. It beat earnings, so it stayed above when we had the couple red days before the election. It was staying green, and then I think the day before I came up here, I was up 7%.
Cool.
And I'm green. I've been
Do you
green
buy
for a while.
options or stocks?
I've practiced options. I used to be in ACB.
What's that?
It was a weed stock.
Oh, okay.
I lost about $700 on
Yeah.
that because I held it too long. I bought it during Christmas and let it go in March.
Yeah, it was really booming for a while, and then everyone's like, no, forget it.
But now I feel like it's going to go up because,
people are all addicted because they're so fed up.
Well, that and Oregon and a lot of northwestern states just decriminalized all drugs.
Yeah, I heard that. Is that for real?
Yeah, very real. And Biden, he's going to start. They say he's going to start legalizing it in all the states.
I don't know. I have philosophy of cause and effect that disagrees with almost everything Biden stands for. So I guess I'll see.
I mean, I haven't looked, but I feel like it's up.
Well,
I feel like it would be up.
It's actually not over yet, so I shouldn't talk that way because it could be Trump. You know.
What is it? Buy the rumor, sell the news?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. I mean, if Biden's looking like he's going to be president and he's going to legalize weed, that means...
Is it rumor or news right now?
It'd be rumor.
It's rumor.
And the news is that Biden's
the
not
minute
they
make it legal, sell.
Yeah. Because...
That sounds like a good stock.
No, don't get in it. It was at $3. I had to let it go at like $1.50. So I lost.
Okay, here's why I don't trade what they call penny stocks. Anything under $3.
Yep, that's what I go for. That's what I used to go for.
I used to buy a few things like that. Jim Cramer says never buy anything like that, but I did. When you go to sell it, there's no market. If there's not enough people buying and selling those stocks, so it's sort of like when you go to sell it. I did.
You got to look at the volume.
I had too much money.
It's high volume penny stocks are really good, but there's so many. I was in tops over the summer.
Well, they're basically Ponzi's. They're basically schemes where and that's actually what I used to do with regular stocks because the same thing's true of regular stocks. They promote them, and then they sell before they say the bad news.
Yeah. But over the summer, I found tops. It was just. A Greek shipping company. They would offer. It was a 15-cent stock. I bought it, and I sold it at 18 cents. And so I made like 20% in a day.
See, when I used to go to sell stuff, I guess if it's high volume, do they tell you in Robinhood that it's high volume?
They show you the volume, today's volume, average
volume.
Okay. Yeah.
If you had $10,000 to invest. And you buy a penny stock, even if it's high volume, you got to buy massive amounts of it.
Oh, yeah, easily.
So here's the thing. I'm with Schwab. There's a fee for that. If you buy too many shares, there's a fee for that.
Robinhood.
When you go to dump it,
no fees.
Even though there's high volume, you're trading high volume. So you're the whole thing, and you go to dump it and it drives the price down.
I've had like 30,000 of one stock, 30,000 shares.
Yeah.
And they'll go in increments, but they go like I sold everything at. I always sell it.
You have to do limit orders.
Yep,
limit orders.
Yep, and I've
Michael,
never had
know
a
what
problem.
limit orders are, right?
Right.
You tell them I'm not taking anything less than.
See, I screwed up because I didn't know what limit orders were, and I sold. It was like, I remember, when I first started out trading.
See, this is the best way to learn. You just do everything wrong once.
Yep. There was this guy. He said, "Follow my watch list." Ugh. All these stocks will go up, and
because he wants you guys to buy them so that he can then sell.
You roll your eyes, but it's like gambling. There's a 33% chance, a 33 or a 66%.
Is this the Monday
chance.
Mover guy?
No.
Did you hear about this guy?
I forget his name because I stopped paying attention to him. But one stock about each week goes up over 100%.
You just got to find that stock.
The other stock goes up about 20%, and the other one falls about 50%.
But if you do all three, you come out ahead?
Sometimes. Well, sometimes two of them fall really hard.
There's a guy advertising on the radio. He's like, join my Money Mover recommendations. You pay him, get his recommendations. He's got a great track record. Everything he recommends, you buy it Friday, you sell it Monday. Statistically, I've done spreadsheet after spreadsheet. Almost everything is lower on Friday and then pops on Monday.
Yep.
because all the day traders get out for the weekend.
Yeah, there's uncertainty.
So he could recommend, my mother's parasol, What's happening with you?
I have been trading only Retrofin for the past week.
Well, what would inspire you to try something new, learn something new?
When Retrofin goes up past the point where I bought it at.
Oh, is it still below where you bought it at?
It's about even with where I bought it at.
No,
Okay, that's called being trapped. That's a psychological thing. You're trapped.
But it'll go up now that the earnings report went through.
So there's that, but maybe join a club on Reddit or something and look at what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, maybe I should get out and find something new. This hasn't been working out for me.
Maybe you should stay
maybe
in,
I should
find
stay
something
in.
different.
Oh gosh, it's all over the place.
I follow. That's where I.
Have you ever heard of Retrofin RTRX?
Yes.
What?
RTRX.
Do you know where you heard of it? Where did you hear of it, Michael?
r/penny stocks or r/stocks on Reddit.
Does it have a r/, Michael?
No, I found it through random chance.
Oh, you're saying, okay, so I don't know how to use Reddit.
Reddit is r/ and then the name of the
So you're
forum.
basically Googling, you could Google something that's r/ and then TSLA or something?
Well, in Reddit, it's...
That's how Reddit works.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll learn how to do Reddit off camera.
They're just trying to pump up the stock. It's like, oh,
Right.
no, I'm losing money, or I have options. I really need this stock to go up. I'm going to type out why this stock's going to go up and post it.
I used to subtly do that sometimes in my, I just tell people I bought this, but I would never tell them until after I bought it. So that's a subtle form of that.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend individual stocks anymore. I've been looking for a way for someone to just day trade on one thing. I feel like if you know one stock really well and it's a very volatile stock, you can make a fortune.
I did that with, it was a retail clothing company, Asna, ASNA. I think it's off Robinhood now because they went bankrupt. But before they went bankrupt, it would go up from 26 to 40 cents. And it would fall back down.
I have one just like that.
Yep.
I was hearing the guys on talking about this. It's Goldman Sachs. They're saying it trades in a channel. I love those chalks because when they trade in a channel, which means it's like got a low and a high and it just keeps bouncing around between those two, you can just keep buying and selling and buying and selling.
I feel like, yeah.
I'm going to actually look into that.
For options and stuff like that, I mean, if people know there's a pattern, they're going to charge you for it.
You think the option would be overpriced when it's low and underpriced when it's high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Like, it's...
For something like that, I wouldn't do options. I would do regular investments.
Yeah. Unless you have, like, 7 monitors with different graphs, looking at everything all day, I doubt you're going to find something that someone else hasn't already.
Right. She's got a massive spreadsheet, so that might help.
There's another phenomenon that I want to talk about, and that is that when you listen to the radio and they say stocks are going up, a lot of times the stock market will open higher.
Yeah.
And it'll be going down. And they'll say the stocks are going up. But as a day trader, that's the opposite of what's happening.
That's
it's like a delay.
I could do that with my stock. It opens pre-market is and like up 2%, and then it will fall to like 4%.
Right.
So if I felt like getting up early and selling and then buying 30 minutes later, I could do that. But I've tried that before, and I end up losing shares.
I think it's very hard for people to day trade because when it's going down and it's lower, you don't have the instinct to buy. And when it's higher, you don't have the instinct to sell. It's like, oh, I got to keep going,
I haven't day traded in a long time. I swing trade, so I will.
Swing trading is when you buy it and then hold it overnight and sell it the next day or two.
Yep. So I would buy it today. Well, I'd sell it this morning, and then I'd buy it back, and then I'd wait till the next day and do the same thing.
Oh, have you ever had this happen where you have a plan and then you just kind of blow it off, you forget about it, and then it's like your plan came true, but
I should have done it.
Just didn't do it.
I've done that so many times, but it's because I'm about 50-50. I'm either I should have done it or I'm glad I didn't do it. And you don't pay attention to, oh, I'm glad I didn't do this. You only remember, oh man, if I did this, I'd have this much money.
That's true. You only remember the bad stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's trading psychology. We've talked about a little bit. And I just want to show you this one thing. I trade the TQQQ, and I have these, I believe, lucky numbers 7, 4, and 1. There was this one day. It's hilarious. I know this is totally irrelevant to most stock trading, but for some reason, when you see something funny like this, it's just like, oh my God, this is so funny. Where is it?
This seems like a perfect time to cut.
This will be a cut
exclusive content.
All right. Only for Patreons.
Patreons only.
We don't have a Patreon.
Let me just unbutton a couple buttons for the Patreon.
Look at this. I at 10:01. Okay, so my lucky numbers are like 1, 4, and 7. It was all 4s and 7s. I'm like, what?
I want to go to Vegas with you.
One time I was trading Tesla stock and it was like 666 and I sold and it immediately dropped. I think people watched those things and I think people get spooked when they see like the Dow. One time it went down 666 and everyone freaked out. It's weird. It's totally meaningless, but we're a crowd of people who are all thinking the same way.
As soon as Tesla hit $420.69, everyone screenshotted it and sent it
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. 69 cents. I didn't think of that. Yeah. Oh my God. That is hilarious. Anyway, thank you for joining us. I think we've discussed enough.
Okay.
You talked so much, Michael.
Thank you for coming to the podcast, everyone. And I'll see you next episode.